I've got one question for you. Are you ready to get your game on?
The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, lit up by Rigid Industries, schooled by DirtFish Rally School, and anywhere is possible with General Tire. So I'm your host, Jim Beaver, and it's great to be back from winter break. It's been a long couple of weeks. It seems like it's been an eternity since I've been here on air with you guys, but stoked to be back once again on the airwaves with some of the best listeners in the world tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show each and every week. I got to tell you, we're 3 years in now, over 3 years. We're starting on year 4 here, and man, it's crazy how many you fans and listeners listen in every Monday and tweet me and use the chat boards. And it's funny because, 2 weeks goes by and I'm not doing this. I mean, we do this every single Monday, and some of you have never missed an episode in 3 years. When I don't hear from you on Mondays, or you don't tune in, or you're not tweeting me, or you're not chatting with me, it's like, we've got this connection, and I wonder, what's going on? Are they sick? What's happening? It's just funny, none of us, a lot of you listeners have met me at shows or races or stuff like that, but some of you from overseas and other places in the United States, we've never met, but I have that connection with you, the listeners, and it's just kind of funny how over the years and months, that develops, and so I'm hoping all of you had a great holiday break. I know I did. Spent some time up in Minnesota, almost two full weeks up there. We'll definitely get into that because I had the opportunity to spend some time at Levi LaValle's compound, and I got to tell you, that place is off the hook insane. So we'll definitely talk about that. But guests slated for today, we've got Todd Leduc, monster truck racer, short course racer. He's getting ready for Frozen Rush. We're going to jump on an interview I actually recorded with Todd on Friday as he was sitting in Houston getting ready to race monster trucks. So we'll jump over to that here in just a little bit. We've also got Amy Houde, my good friend Amy Houde. She's going to be calling in, and we had her as a guest back in I believe September, October-ish. And you fans, I got to tell you, man, you loved Amy on air. I heard about it. You guys listened over and over. I mean, the ratings were through the roof. And talking with Amy, told her, hey, I want to get you involved, when I can. I mean, everybody loves you. It was a fun interview. You and I had a good time on air together. And, Supercross season kicks off. Amy travels with the Supercross series, doing various things. And we've got this Down and Dirty Radio Show Fantasy Supercross that we'll get to later on in the show. But, I go, hey, let's get you in the league. Let's get you on air every Monday to recap. So Amy Houde, throughout Supercross season, she's going to be calling in on Mondays. I won't say every Monday, but she's going to try her best just about every Monday to call in. And we're going to recap, Supercross. And she, she's friends with each and every one of these riders. So she knows the behind the behind-the-scenes storylines that's going on, and some of the, the personal battles and, and some of that stuff that goes on. I mean, I would say I'm that guy in off-road. I'm friends with everybody. I know what happens behind the scenes. She's that person in Supercross and motocross. So going to be cool to get her perspective on things that are happening and literally get somebody that's on the ground floor, behind the scenes, in the pits, somebody that knows everything, to chime in each and every week on what happens, on track. Also, she's friends with all these people. So from time to time, we may have a few guys calling in, and, when Amy's on, we may have a Ken Roxon or somebody call in. I'm not saying that's going to happen today because it's not, so don't expect it. But, I'm saying, she knows these guys, so I think, we're going to have a little more of the Supercross, and motocross racers calling in and chatting when Amy's on air. So it should be fun. Super stoked to link up with her and make that happen. And, should definitely be a good time. So those of you just tuning in, maybe a few minutes too shy, this is the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. If you want to chat with me during the show, love your questions at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. Hit me up at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. We'll get those questions answered on air when we can. If you got anything for Amy, shoot it over. Anything on Supercross, Dakar, Score. I know there's a ton of Score news and storylines going on right now. Lots of news and stuff happening in the off season. Obviously Dakar, the big one right now. We've also got some silly season with the World Rally Championship happening. But we're kicking off off-road season with the Best in the Desert Parker 250 this weekend, Frozen Rush this weekend. So any questions you guys have, shoot me over at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I'll answer them on air. And like I said, if they're for Amy Houde, we'll definitely we'll ask those, shoot them over at Amy, when she calls in later on today. So definitely a big show today, on tap and coming out swinging, like I said on social media. Todd Leduc, Amy Houde, Todd, a guy that I got a lot of respect for. As you'll see in this interview, he's a grinder, man. He grinds it out, pulls the all-nighters, both him and Kyle, and their dad, Kurt. I mean, there's some of the few that make a living at off-road racing. A lot of guys have a fallback occupation, and I'm not faulting them for that. I do. I mean, I do radio and everything else as well as race, and my family also has a Ford dealership, Parker Motor Company, plug, parkermotor.com. But, it's definitely a tough road. I mean, guys like, the Leducs and Rob McCachran, who that's all they do. Justin Bean Smith, another one, that's all they do. It's tough. You got to win races. You got to hunt those sponsors down and those partners and make things happen and take home the big checks like Kyle did at Cran. And, that's definitely, what keeps your program going. And, when you're not just paying for race car parts, but you're paying, a mortgage and maybe, for a babysitter for your kids or daycare. I mean, it's definitely a tough road and talking with Rob, talking with the Leducs, they wouldn't change their lifestyle for anything, but it's definitely a tough road. And that's why I've got a lot of respect for those. And as you'll see with this interview with Todd, I mean, he talks about, whether you pay the mortgage or, you overhaul the engine. It's definitely an interesting take. And not only that, monster trucks, he's got into monster trucks. He's a desert racing champion. So a great interview with Todd Leduc we're going to get to. And I just want to warn you, when you listen to this, there's a bit of an echo on Todd's side. When we did this interview, he literally was in a skybox in Houston getting ready to drive monster trucks later that day. So, if you hear a little bit of an echo on Todd's end from the phone, it's not your speakers, it's not your computer, it's just where he was when we did the interview. So here is Todd Leduc talking monster trucks, Lucas Oil, and a little bit of everything. All right, we're here with monster truck driver, short course driver, Todd Leduc, who's getting ready to kill it in some Frozen Rush this coming weekend. But right now you're sitting in Houston getting ready to do some monster trucks. How's everything going, Todd?
Yeah, things are going great, dude. I'm stoked to be back in Houston. This is my first show of 11 weeks in a row that I'm going to be driving Monster Jam trucks, and Frozen Rush is thrown in the middle of it. So next week I go home to Phoenix for a couple of hours, and I turn on and fly back to Maine to -9 degrees, and that race is going to be insane.
Yeah, I think you've done that, I believe this is your second year now. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Frozen Rush. We'll talk about monster trucks here in a minute, but, that race in particular, it's so different. So, it's short course, but it's so out of your element with the snow. I mean, normally with off-road, we're fighting heat, you know what I mean, and trucks overheating. You go up there and you got a problem actually getting them hot enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, the whole time you're there, you're trying to get everything hot enough to in the pre-tent, we get everything up to temperature and everything starts to get hot. As soon as you drive outside to, -9 degrees, you're sitting there going, the temperatures all just start dropping quickly. So we're covering our trucks with blankets. We're covering the radiators with cardboard to try to keep them warm and stuff. And it's an unreal feeling of sitting there sideways on the ski slope, and you're looking out in front of your truck, and there's snow falling on your tin work, melting. It's just the craziest feeling ever.
Yeah, and in talking about that, I mean, we know short course. I mean, you guys are in Pro 4. I mean, some of the baddest machines on the planet, and you take a slick track, and you guys are able, to claw through it with the 4-wheel drives. I mean, is it that much different racing on snow, or talk a little bit about the differences in racing on a really slippery Lucas track, and then going and racing on snow and ice.
That's what's really unique about the Pro 4s is you can throw them at anything, and we can get through it and power through it and actually put on a great show. Lucas Oil sometimes does have a tendency to overwater the tracks. Those first couple laps, how it's just super greasy and you're sliding sideways for 90 feet before the turn. That's how it is at Frozen Rush. It's the craziest thing. It's real similar to a really wet track, and like driving in the sand at the sand dunes. You got to start your turn about 20 to 30 feet early, and it gets the thing to rotate, and you can't see half the time because everything's white. You can't see the ruts. You're being snow blinded by crosswinds and like it's crazy. But the trucks handle it well. I don't see us doing it in any other vehicles. Pro 2s I don't think could handle the acceleration back up the hills and rotation wise. Pro 4 is the only fit for sure.
Yeah, well, and talking about that, I mean, last year I know it was supposed to be head to head. I think with the way the track was laid out, they ended up not being able to. It was head to head, but you guys weren't side by side really. This year, they're changing it up, and it's literally a head to head battle. I mean, what's it going to take to win up there at Frozen Rush?
It is true. This year they made the official decision that we are racing side by side. At one point, the two tracks combined. At the beginning, we do separate, but then halfway down the mountain, dude, we start battling each other, hitting door to door. I brought extra fiberglass because I know it's going to get ugly, and nobody's going to be lifted. Nobody wants to be in that second place coming down that hill, not seeing all that snow dust, and it's going to be a vicious race this year. You better watch it, online and on TV. It's going to be insane for sure.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is it's a few drivers aside. I know obviously your brother Kyle being one, but I mean it is almost like an all-star race. Regardless of class, it seems like they brought in everybody, whether it was Pro 2 drivers, Pro 4, and it's going to be almost the best of the best, like an all-star race.
Yeah, no, this is. I think it's going to be eventually like the all-star race that they have for NASCAR or the Chili Bowl. Like it's going to be a big deal, dude. Every year they're taking on more and more vehicles and trucks, and they want the top of the top. They want the best of the best, but the show is just unbelievable. And the way that they designed this track, they have 120-foot doubles here at this track, and you got to have some of the best drivers that will be man enough to jump those jumps. And there was a few drivers that were invited, like my brother, that couldn't attend last minute, and I think maybe next year, more and more drivers will be invited, and the sport in this event keeps growing. And like you said, the best of the best are going to be there this year, I think, and it's an unreal race to see and to watch.
Yeah. Well, let's go back and talk short course a little bit and Lucas Oil because, obviously you do some monster truck racing. You do a little bit of desert racing when you can with your dad's trophy truck. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, Lucas Oil, short course, that's your bread and butter. I mean, that's where you've made a name for yourself. I mean, what's on tap for 2015 for Todd Leduc? And, what's it going to take to dethrone your brother this year?
My goal this year is to campaign a Pro 2 truck. I want to get back into Pro 2. Rockstar made me step out of the Pro 2 division a couple of years ago and go Pro 4, and I did it because I wanted to race, and I enjoy racing and making a living at it, but Pro 2 is my love, and so I'm doing whatever it takes to get back into that division. So I'm talking with a few sponsors now, and I haven't concreted titles for the Pro 2, but I'm working my butt off to do a Pro 2 program for next year. Pro 4, we're still waiting. I want to do some really cool, unique stunts with my Pro 4 next year, or this year technically. I want to go out to Glamis like Kyle did and do some big jumps and go to San Francisco and do some gymkhana drifting stuff. I have a pretty cool ideas in my mind that I just got to put together and put it down on paper and make them happen for sure.
Yeah, cool. So, got to talk a little bit about Crandon too. When are we going to see Todd Leduc back in Crandon? I mean, obviously the Leducs, the family name. You guys have a legacy back there at Crandon. It's got to be a place that you want to get back to and do some racing more often.
Yeah, Kyle and I did it this 2014. Him and I did it together. We spent our own money to go back there and race. It's just so much fun. But that's why Kyle and I both looked at each other. We're like, we gotta go. It's the race of the top of the top. It was the anniversary race, and we just thought, you know what, we're gonna go back to Crandon. Like for the last 3 years, I've been going on my own dime to race, and I want to keep going back there. And I would like to see Crandon eventually back on either the Lucas Oil series or make this 2 series combined. And I want to go back to Crandon and make it an actual points race. It's a lot of fun to race there. The crowd, the people. Everything is just awesome, and we'll see how it all works out. Crandon's a smart track. They're really cool, and I think eventually we'll be racing there full time. I think.
Yeah. Well, and talking about Lucas, one of the big schedule changes, obviously, you talk about Leducs, you talk about Crandon, you can talk about the Leducs and talk about Baja, on the flip side. And I know Lucas going to be running a race down there in Baja. That's got to get you pretty excited to be running short course in Ensenada.
Yeah. The funny thing is we used to race in Estero Beach, a long, long time ago with my dad and stuff. It's like just for fun and just to go shred some laps with the Hughesmans and everybody. And now it's on the circuit. It's crazy, dude. I think that eventually is going to be the biggest, baddest race there is for Lucas Oil. And Mexico is just huge. The fans love off-road racing, and I'm really, really glad that we're finally going more international, and that just brings more brand awareness for Lucas Oil and for all of our current sponsors that we do have, that we're racing, globally now, and it's going to take off-road and Lucas Oil to the next level for sure.
Yeah, well, and especially with you, I mean, with a company like Rockstar that you've been with for a long time, with them, I mean, they've got a presence in in the international market, so it's got to be pretty exciting for them to be able to branch out and have you racing down there as well as them being a series sponsor. Yeah,
I think it's going to be big. There's a huge presence there with Monster and a lot of other companies and stuff, so I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of cool parties, I think, and just the overall atmosphere is going to be cool. And I don't know, as welcoming as they are for the Baja 1000, I think they're going to be just as equally as excited to see Lucas Oil come down there and see what those trucks are really capable of. And like I always tell everybody in off-road racing and stuff, and that are outside the world, as soon as you see a short course race live, you're going to be hooked. And I think those fans, once they see it live instead of it being on TV, they're going to be hooked for sure.
Yeah. Well, and talking about seeing something live instead on TV, we got to touch on Monster Jam. You're sitting there in Houston, you're getting ready for the kickoff event. I mean, first off, let's talk how you got involved in monster truck racing, because as much as there's similarities to off-road, there's differences. I mean, how did that door open for Todd Leduc, to get into monster truck racing?
Well, 4 years ago, I was sitting here going, man, I need to grow my brand. I need to grow my name. Off-road is a pretty big deal, but it's not that big. So I was like looking at other sports that I could do to grow my name and my brand. I was like, dude, Monster Jam, you're doing a show in front of 75,000 fans, all hearing Todd Leduc and the Metal Militia monster truck drive around the floor. So I took it on and talked to my friend Leo O'Donnell, and he drove Ironman for years. He said, Todd, if you want to do the work and, you want to do this deal, I'll back you. Here's the phone number to the guys. Call them and see what you think. So I went, called the guys. They said, you know what, Todd, let's get you out to North Carolina and get you a test. I jumped in a truck, and they're like, dude, you're picking it up, like, flawlessly. Like, you understand the dynamics, the rotation, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, all right, you're hired. So they threw me to the wolves my very first show. I did a show in Nashville, and I went to the finals in racing and rolled over. And then in freestyle, I got like fourth. And ever since then, dude, I've just been hooked. And it's been a whirlwind, dude. We've been winning a lot of races and a lot of freestyles. And last year, 2014, I was a Monster Jam freestyle world champion.
Yeah, and I gotta ask you that jump. I mean, I've seen video of it. I mean, you've posted pictures of it. I mean, I don't know how far, how high, that specific jump was, but I mean, there's pictures of it, and I swear, I mean, I've never seen a monster truck go that huge.
No, that's what everybody's saying. They're like, in the history, I've been driving, like Dennis Anderson said, I've been driving monster trucks for over 20 years, Todd. He goes, I've never seen anybody go that high. It was 60 feet up and 184 feet out. And I landed right into another obstacle and just got the truck back under control, and I did a couple of other really cool big jumps, and I pulled my first ever backflip off a container, and I was on such a high, I flew across the field to the other side and did another backflip, and it was an unbelievable night, and just to hear everybody saying, like, dude, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. That was the coolest thing. You definitely deserve to win. It's definitely a really cool feeling. And with Monster Jam, I think I got a long, long future, and I'm just going to keep going with it and growing my brand and making more and more fans and see where Monster Jam takes us.
Yeah, it's it's funny because it's so much different than off-road. It's like you go into freestyle and you almost know that you're going to end up on your lid at some point in time. And off-road, it's we know, but you try and avoid it. And Monster Jam, it's kind of like you embrace it. I mean, you roll over and the fans go nuts. In off-road, we're like, oh crap, everybody's thinking you're dead. How is the mindset going into that, knowing that there's probably more likely than not you're going to end up on your lid?
That's what's crazy, is because it took me a second to stop thinking like that, because in off-road racing, I run my own program and I own everything. So when I'm out there on the track, I'm thinking, okay, be careful. Don't smash this, don't break that, because that's going to come out of my wallet. Where Monster Jam, you got to completely shut that off. The fans want to see carnage. They want to see flips. They want to see crashes, and I'm not paying for it. So that's even better for me. So I'm sitting here trying to put on the best show I can, and at the end, if I start to crash and get a little bit buck wild, then that's what happens, So I like that feeling of just shutting it off, not even thinking with my common sense, and just driving on pure instincts and just having a blast. Like it's a big video game. I'm just thinking, I'm going to jump from this obstacle all the way 120 feet over to this obstacle. I wonder if I can make it. And then I'm sitting there flying through the air, and I don't land it, and I crash, and I'm like, well, that wasn't a good thing to do, but somebody else is paying for it. It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah, it's like a kid in a candy store, right, with an unlimited budget. You just get to have at it.
Yeah, dude, it's unreal. I wish more and more people could do this, but I'm not the guy who hires people, so I just try to tell them who I think is a good fit for a future driver. And I think people who race off-road or even motocross pick it up 10 times faster than a lot of other people, because there's a lot of throttle rhythm in jumping and landing backside, and it's like an RC car. When you jump through the air and you hit the brake and the car starts to rotate over forward and you give it throttle, and there's a lot to it for sure. It's not just a hillbilly event anymore. I think Monster Jam and us upper tier drivers are bringing it to the next level, and I think the fans are seeing that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, talking about, off-road, obviously we talked about Monster Jam, talked about, short course a little bit. Talk a little bit about desert racing, because I know, your dad's got this trophy truck, and you and both Kyle, try at least once a year to get some seat time in the trophy truck. I know Vegas to Reno, you had your chance to wheel that thing, this year, something that, in 2015 you're going to try and do a little more often. I mean, how's that work? Your dad, pretty much whenever you've got time, got an open seat for you?
Yeah, Kyle and I and my dad are all a third partner on the trophy truck, so we all share the truck. But the tough thing is, with all the different scheduling and events here and there, we can't all just race the truck yet, and we need help with desert for sure. There's no doubt. We don't own our own company to help fund it, so we need sponsorship help to race desert, and I want to get back into desert so bad. Out of all the motorsports things that I drive and do, desert racing is my favorite by far. I love flying across the desert, reading the terrain, driving the truck for 8 hours, and just all the logistics and the craziness. I love desert racing, and I did do Vegas to Reno. We qualified not too bad, and we got all the way up to 5th or 6th on time, and I had to hand the truck off to another driver, and we flipped back. But just to get back in that seat and in the trophy truck, I was just like a total kid in a candy store. I was having a blast, and I want to do more races next year for sure. I want to get back in the trophy truck seat, and I've led a lot of races and won a lot of races and championships, and I want to get back into a desert trophy truck. And our truck is very fast, and every time we do drive it, we're learning and getting more and more of the bugs out of it. But to drive my dad's truck with my dad or my brother would be a dream come true for sure, or to even race for another race team again would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, and talking about, that, I mean, especially, on the short course side, I mean, how is it? I know there for a long time, you and Kyle were, both, teammates and kind of under the same banner with your dad, and now with different sponsors and stuff like that, you guys have kind of had to separate programs. How is it competing against him? Obviously, we all know you get on track and, it's, everybody for themselves, but, how is it being, you and your brother both having elite level teams in short course?
My brother and I have always competed against each other. Ever since we were like 9 years old, riding bikes in the neighborhood, we'd always try to out-jump each other. It's been bred into us to compete. I don't know why, but it was. And so him and I have always pushed each other to our limits and farther and faster. And with Kyle, as a brother, he's awesome. He loves to help me. He gives me some tips here and there, and shows me, some of the lines of what's going on and stuff. But then as soon as we hit the track, we're total competitors, dude. And Kyle even took me aside one time. He goes, dude, you better treat me just like anybody else that's out here, So when we're out there, we do hit each other, and I make them flip and crash. I go, dude, I'm not just your brother. Remember that, dude. Like, when we're out on the track, dude, we're all fighting for that money. And, when Kyle and I race, when we get on the podium, we're paying our mortgage, and we're paying our cell phones, and we're paying all these bills that we got, and so it gets personal. It gets more than what the fans see, and I want to eventually portray that in maybe a reality show or a TV show where there's more to it than just Kyle and I out there just having a lot of fun. We got families that rely on us and all that other stuff,
Well, and I think that's what's interesting, and it goes back to your dad, but now you and Kyle. I mean, a lot of these guys, that you're competing against, they've got other businesses. They've got backup businesses, and whether it be clothing lines or construction companies or off-road companies, but you guys, I mean, like you said, it's, if you don't have sponsor dollars coming in, if you're not on track and winning races or taking podiums, I mean, like you said, you don't pay the bills. I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword. You're living the dream, but, if you don't run up front, then, you might not be able to pay the bills next year.
Yeah. So, like a lot of the companies that we deal with for sure, like Lomar, in Metal Militia and a lot of these other companies and stuff, and they understand that and stuff. So that's why a lot of them, it's more of a, not just a sponsorship, but it's like a personal bond, a friendship, and it's like we're a big family and stuff. So it gets very, very stressful because I'm sitting there going, okay, should I pay the motor to get finished for $16,000 and not pay the mortgage and just pay the double mortgage next month, and there's so much stuff to it. And, I got mechanics and kids, working for me, and they're looking at me going like, do I have a job next week? And, and it's just crazy, dude. There's a lot to it for sure. And I am living the dream. There's no doubt for sure. But sometimes it's just so stressful and crazy that it just gets overwhelming. But I think I do it well. I still take a lot of time to, hang out with the fans and go to events and go to children's hospitals and do a lot of other things to help offset that and just to relieve a lot of stress. So I can't imagine not racing, and just living the dream, like I said.
Awesome. Well, I know you're there in Houston, getting ready to do some Monster Jam, and what's up after that? We've got Monster Jam, we've got some Frozen Rush, and then after that, where's Todd Leduc the rest of January and into February?
I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to Maine and Frozen Rush for a week. I come home for 3 days. I come back to Houston, do another Monster Jam, and then I go to San Diego, and then I go to Anaheim, California, and then I go to Oakland and Portland, El Paso, Texas, Fresno, Vegas. So I'm all over the place, too. Like I said, these next 13 weeks of my life is just going to be travel in the United States all over the place, and then settle down for a second, get the Pro 2 program and the Pro 4 all together for the first Lucas Oil race, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're getting ready to wheel some monster trucks, so always great to catch up, and we'll have to catch up with you mid-season or something once you get that Pro 2 program going on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your time, and say hi to all the fans, and definitely keep an eye out for me, and go check out my Instagram, toddleduc.com.
All right. Thanks a lot, Todd.
All right, see you, man.
All right. Take it easy. All right, always good times with Todd Leduc on air, and I got to tell you some epic quotes in there as I'm tweeting during that interview. I know one of them, two of my standout ones though, is one quote, "Monster Jam is shutting off your common sense and just going for it." You got to love that, and it's funny, because you learn a lot. I mean, I knew a lot of those trucks in Monster Jam were owned by the series, but I didn't realize most of them are, and the drivers just paid to show up and destroy them. I know, talking with Joe Sylvester, he is an owner/driver. It's a little bit different circumstance with him, but all kinds of different interesting dynamics that go into monster trucks. And, and I know, I don't have an unlimited budget. Take the trophy truck out, and, if I wad the thing up, there's a chance I'm not making it to the next race. I know with Todd and in short course, same thing. If he balls the truck up and, chance he might have to miss around depending on, where they're staggered at, and, Monster Jam's a different story. You don't own the truck. You just show up. You're paid to drive it. Yeah, you can destroy the thing, burn it to the ground, and I guess it doesn't matter. You got another truck, the next week. So, interesting dynamics that go into, to different motorsports series. That is for certain. So, great interview. I know another one of them, his quotes, it was, talking about being an owner driver. Do I pay the mortgage this month or do I overhaul the engine? It's interesting, and you don't think about it until, you hear from a guy like that. You see him on TV and it's all glorious and on the podium and spraying champagne and stuff. But, there's real life tough decisions that go on behind the scenes, being an owner driver like that. And there are guys making livings at off-road, but it's a tough road to haul. That's for certain. So a lot of respect for Todd Leduc, and I know him talking about Vegas to Reno. We had an epic battle there, Todd and I. He started a couple spots in front of me. I think it was TJ Flores, Todd, me, and then Whipple in the candidate truck. And I think through like mile marker 150 or something, I ended up having power steering issues. But we literally, us four, started 1, 2, 3, 4, in middle of the trophy truck field, and none of us passed each other, and none of us made any time on each other. It was crazy. I mean, we went through every pit, and our time splits were exactly the same. We had a great battle going on at Vegas to Reno. So anytime you can see Todd or Kyle, in a trophy truck, it's always fun and a good time. So great interview with Todd Leduc. Great catching up with him, and looks like he has definitely a lot of events on tap for him over the next couple of weeks, doing that Monster Jam circuit. So we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking some Dakar in our DirtFish Rally Report. Lots of news happening as we speak. Lots of breaking Dakar news, especially in regards to Robbie Gordon. So you want to hang tight and listen in for that. But I am Jim Beaver. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, and we will be back after this break.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris racers RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Okay, when you're on the job, you're making tough decisions around the clock. Well, here's an easy one. Ford F-Series. Under the hood, F-Series trucks have the power and fuel efficiency you need. Translation? You can always tackle the toughest jobs without losing a fortune at the pumps. But it's not just all brawn and no brains. F-Series trucks also have a cutting-edge selection of smart technology that keeps you connected, focused, and informed, all while behind the wheel. That's why, on average, every 42 seconds, someone forks over their hard-earned cash to get a new F-150 or Super Duty. No wonder they're the best-selling brand of trucks in America for 37 years in a row. The competition never stood a chance. Ford F-150, Ford Super Duty. #1 for 37 years straight. Not convinced? Get behind the wheel of an F-150 or Super Duty and decide for yourself. Go online to your local FordDealers.com, then visit your Arizona Ford dealer for a test drive today. Based on U.S. sales from October 2012 through October 2013.
DirtFish Rally School is the premier rally driving school on the West Coast, located in Snoqualmie, Washington. If you are looking for a ton of fun with world-class driving instructors honing your skills, DirtFish is the place for you. DirtFish has 315 acres of playground with mixed surfaces for your driving experience. You can spend anywhere from 2 hours to 3 intense days of instruction refining your driving and racing skills. Whether you are looking for credits towards your Rally America license, honing your racing skills, or just having a fun time, DirtFish is your school. Your classroom is behind wheel of a 300 horsepower rally-prepped Subaru STI. These cars have protective cages, suspension modifications, and are built for one purpose: to push you to your limit. By the end of your time at DirtFish, you will have the confidence to rally with the best. Whether you're looking for a thrilling first-time rally experience or to increase your knowledge and time in the driver's seat, DirtFish has a driving experience to suit your needs. For any information on their classes, corporate events, or their facility, check them out on the web at www.dirtfish.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at DirtFish Rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, lit up by Rigid Industries, schooled by DirtFish Rally School, and anywhere as possible with General Tire. I'm your host, Jim Beaver, and got done with Todd Leduc a little bit ago on air. Great interview. Those of you just tuning in live, you definitely want to skip back after the show and listen to that. You missed a good one. Once again, I am Jim Beaver. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, and chat with us live on Twitter at JimBeaver15 if you got some questions for any of our guests. Amy Houde coming up, or Supercross, Dakar, WRC, Score, and their new packages with TV and that we're going to get into in just a little bit. Or you want to talk some Supercross, from Anaheim, shoot me a tweet at JimBeaver15. We'll definitely get those on air and ask them. And I got to tell you, I monitor my Twitter feed during the breaks, get a lot of breaking news, and we're going to get into to Dakar and some late breaking news with Robbie Gordon here in just a minute in the DirtFish Rally Report. But it's funny. I get all this breaking news in CNET. Those of you CNET.com, they're the tech company. They do reviews of TVs, laptops, anything techie, phones, smartphones, stuff. So I follow them just to kind of see what's going on. So you got that big electronics convention right now, and it says breaking news. Chinese company something, has a brand new record-breaking 110-inch 4K TV. Seriously, 110-inch TV. I'm going to say it, but if you've got a 110-inch TV, or you're even considering buying one of those, you have a problem. Get out of the house. Get out of the house. If you've got a 110-inch TV, your priorities are out of whack. I got a 60-inch TV, and I got to tell you, it's probably too big. I can only imagine having a 110-inch TV. I don't know why you would need a 110-inch TV. I can tell you it'd be great watching races on it, but I mean, seriously, 110-inch TV, if you're even considering buying one of those, I think you watch entirely too much TV. Just my thoughts, but if you do, if any of my listeners do have anything over 100-inch, I want to see pictures. Post them up, and I'm coming over for Supercross one of these weekends. I promise you that. If you're a listener and have a 100-inch or bigger TV, I will make a point to come and watch a Supercross race with you this year. So tweet me your pictures, tag me on Instagram. I want to see them if you've got a TV over 100 inches tall or 100 inches big, because I will come to your house, I'll buy the beer, I'll pay for the pizza, and we're watching some Supercross. So that is some breaking news, I guess, from CNET. But getting into some DirtFish Rally Report, brought to you by our good friends at DirtFish Rally School up there in Snoqualmie, Washington. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And don't forget, they got that new two-wheel drive program with those Subaru BRZs, in addition to their all-wheel drive program with the WRX STIs. So whether you're an all-wheel drive racer, two-wheel drive racer, DirtFish has something that fits your needs. Whether you're good, bad, never been in a car before, they will make things happen. But, right now the big one in our DirtFish Rally Report, obviously the Dakar Rally got started. And, it got started, and, yesterday was day one, and today is day two, and yesterday, day one, Robbie Gordon, solid showing by Robbie. He finished up in third, but Nasser Al-Attiyah, who ended up winning the stage, got penalized for speeding into the some kind of speed penalty. Let's just put it that way. So moved Nasser back to seventh position, moved Orlando Terranova in the mini up to first. So then Robbie, he slingshotted from third to second, and ended up being about 41 seconds behind, I believe. So Robbie in second, Janil De Villiers in the Toyota, he was in third. We've got Halasix, I'm butchering that name, in the mini. He was in fourth. Spataro in fifth, and then other notables, we had Petter Hansel in 10th, Carlos Sainz in 8th, and then obviously Al-Attiyah in 7th. Short stage yesterday, very, very short stage yesterday, one of the shortest. Then they go into today, which is one of the longest stages, 518 kilometers. So 518 kilometers for you Americans, that's what, roughly 250 miles, maybe, right around there, maybe add or subtract, I don't know. But somewhere around there. But anyways, one of the longest stages of the Dakar Rally. So going into that, obviously Robbie in a good spot, and for you overseas listeners, I apologize, but we're going to talk a lot about Robbie Gordon during Dakar. And if you don't like Dakar for the next 2 weeks, you're probably not going to want to tune in. But if you are a Dakar fan, like pretty much 90% of the people listening to the show, you're gonna, we're going to talk a lot about Robbie. 1, he's a friend of mine. 2, he's an American, and 3, he's just a badass. So, hang tight for that. But Robbie today started out, sounds like he was running strong up front. Ended up having some brake issues. So last I've heard, he's through 430 kilometers of 518. But with those brake issues, I guess something about oil, brakes, smoke, I don't know. He is still running, but I know it was in regards to the brake system. He's now an hour and 5 minutes back with about 90 kilometers to go. So it definitely hurt him, and I can tell you he got back up and running, but he's losing time as he goes. So the problem, obviously they fixed it, but it seems like he's limping to the finish of today's stage because it started out he was about 40 minutes, then 45, then 50, 55. Now he's an hour and 5 minutes back. So definitely losing time as the stage progresses. Bad news for us Robbie fans and Robbie. Good news is if you want this to happen, you want it to happen early. This has happened definitely early enough that it's not. It's not, he can overcome it. It just needs to be a clean rally from here forward. But I'm sure we'll get some more information as this rally progresses, and today. And I can tell you right now, best places to find out Dakar news on the web. Obviously, Dakar website's got a lot, but for you fans. Maybe even looking more at the American contingent or the North American contingent, Planet Robbie, planetrobbie.com, or at Planet Robbie on social media or Facebook. Definitely some good news, especially in regards to Robbie Gordon. Probably the best for him. And then race-desert.com, our friends at Race Desert, they are down at Dakar. Great updates coming onto Race Desert's website, as well as their social media. So you definitely want to be following them as well. And I gotta give a shout out to our friends at El Martillo Racing. We had them on air a while back. Matt Campbell yesterday they started 56, finished up in 51st position, so gaining 5 positions. So congrats goes out to Matt Campbell and the boys from El Martillo down there in southern Baja. Definitely doing a good job. I don't know how they're doing today, but that was yesterday's result. Sounds like Matt is it's a 3-seater. Remember. One of the few vehicles in Dakar that's a 3-seater, and it sounds like Matt Campbell with today's long stage, he will not be driving. He'll be in one of the co-rider seats or co-pilot seats, and it sounds like Luis is going to be driving today. So they're switching out depending on the stage and the conditions. So Dakar as we speak, it's going on. It's definitely, as we speak, we're getting live updates. So throughout the show, as I get these updates, I may chime in and tell you, especially when we find out how Robbie Gordon finished. But, Robbie Gordon, Johnny Campbell, brake issues today. It's cost them a little over an hour. Definitely a tough one, especially on the longest stage of the rally. It always sucks, if it was on yesterday's stage, it's so short, brake issues, you're not going to lose much time. Long stage like today, and you have them early on, man, you got to limp that car for hundreds of kilometers with brake issues. Definitely makes it tough. So you can bet though that Team Speed Energy is going to have that car back on track for tomorrow, and it'll be gas on, game on, and look out because Robbie's going to take some stage wins if I had to make my prediction. But, that is your Dakar coverage for today so far here in the DirtFish Rally Report. Also, some big news coming out of the rally side, the stage rally side. Big Swan WRC making some big changes this offseason in regards to format and some of the rules. Changing up the running order. This has been a big hot-button issue in WRC for the past couple of years, and nobody wants to start first. It's you're basically trailblazing for everybody else, especially on the gravel stages because sometimes they're slicker, more marbles, stuff like that. So you're really just trailblazing. They're changing things up. Sebastian Ogier not happy about it, but they are changing things up. So Friday and Saturday of rallies, the seating or how you start is going to be based on championship points order. So for the first race of the year in Monte Carlo, goes off last year, Sebastian Ogier, he's going to start out front Friday and Saturday. He is not liking that one bit. He's let everybody know about it. Then on Sunday, they're reversing the order, so then he'll get a chance on Sunday to start towards the back. But, guys on the tarmac rallies actually sometimes enjoy starting up front. There's different benefits. I don't know, man. It's a trade-off, but that is the rules this year for the WRC. And also another rule change, split times. They are doing away with split times for the drivers. So what's happened in the past, before the invention of electronics and internet and data transmission, guys used to have a stopwatch, much as they do in Supercross, and hold up a sign and, and give drivers split times when they had a chance. But now... it's got so, guys can find out splits, and then they can text the navigator, not text, but they can, transfer that data to the navigator. The navigator, say a driver has a 20-second lead on a stage, which, it's a rarity, really. But, say they have a 20, 30-second lead on a stage, they can back it down a little bit, knowing that they have the gap covered and maybe take it easier and not take as many chances. On the flip, if you're behind, you can push harder and try and make up that time. So, having these split times in WRC is really, basically, it's dictated how the drivers pace themselves. So with this change, now teams can have split times, but you're not allowed to transfer those split times to a driver in the middle of a stage. So as they're on track, they will no longer be getting these split times, so the driver has to make the determination whether he pushes or whether he takes it easy. So these split times will no longer dictate the races. So I think that's a good move, me personally, but I'm sure the drivers aren't going to like it. But me personally, I like it. Also, Sebastian Loeb, he is back in the seat of a Citroen at Monte Carlo. So that's definitely big news for you Loeb fans and for WRC. And Loeb, he's one who can step in there. And I got to tell you, no matter where he starts, he's gonna push Sebastian and Jari-Matti Lavela for a win. That's a guaranteed. So Loeb in a Citroen in Monte Carlo, it is confirmed. And also big news on the Rallycross side is that Mini Coopers, those Mini Coopers that you saw Liam Doran race, you saw Dave Mirra race, both of them successful. Liam won an X Games event with him. Dave dominated at Charlotte until he got punted, basically. But those Minis, some of the fastest cars in GRC last year. They have been up for sale. And JRM out of the UK have bought the Mini Coopers. They are going to be running a rallycross program with them. They bought all the intellectual property, all the spares, everything that goes along with the Mini Cooper program. So JRM in the UK 100% fully owns that program now. It is no longer ProDrive. They have said that they will be campaigning a full season of Rallycross. What they haven't said is whether it will be in the World Rallycross Championship or the Global Rallycross Championship. So we don't know if they're running in Europe with WRX or in the States with GRC yet. The Minis have never run in World Rallycross, always run in GRC. But with JRM being based in the UK, you got to think possibly that they'll be running them in WRX. But they haven't made the determination yet, haven't made an announcement. So it's up in the air. You got to think if they haven't made the announcement, they're considering all options. So big news in Rallycross, whether they're racing in Europe or here in the States. It's definitely big news. Some of the fastest cars out there, and they've been sitting for a year. So I'm excited just to see him back out on course. You see a fast car like that sit in a garage, and it really, as a driver, kind of, I want to say breaks your heart. You know that they're, competitive. It's, we want to see somebody in them. Well, JRM, they're making it happen. So, that was. That is some definite big news in Rallycross. So that is your DirtFish Rally Report. for this week, brought to you by our good friends at DirtFish Rally School. Find out more information on the web, www.dirtfish.com. And, like I said before, lots of classes available this winter. Weather up there in Seattle, you never know. You might get some rain. You might get a little snow. Might be dusty conditions. You never know what's going to happen up there at DirtFish. So, anytime you book a class, they can throw the gamut at you. You may get a little of everything, all in one crack. You never know. So make your way up to DirtFish. Find out more information, dirtfish.com. And great to have DirtFish Rally School back with the Down and Dirty Radio Show for yet another year. Great partner of mine, and I'm looking forward to getting up there and doing some more live radio from DirtFish. Definitely gonna be fun. So other big news. Other big breaking news, I guess, was Score. I mean, over the holiday, big news is Score. Obviously, they had their TV package with the Baja 1000, and that aired. And a lot of people up in the air, upset about how it was portrayed. And some people love, hey, we've got off-road on TV. Other people, they only show trophy trucks. They only do this. They only do that. It's I don't know, man. I for one, I love seeing Score on TV. Best in the Desert. They have a great TV package. With MAV and NBC Sports, and then whatever Mad Media does with the Mint 400, Red Bull Signature Series. So I'm glad to see Score, have a presence on television. I understand why they tailor it to the trophy trucks. For the most part, let's face it, trophy trucks sell. I mean, most of the major sponsors involved in off-road, if you're going to jump in, you want to sponsor a trophy truck. They get the most publicity. I mean, it's a fact. I'm not taking away from the other classes. I've driven in many classes, and and I have a respect for everybody that races off-road desert racing, and regardless of what class you're in. I mean, you're out there doing battle against some of the toughest elements on earth. So much respect. But I understand why trophy trucks, get the line share TV, and I may also be a little biased because I race and own a trophy truck. But that being said, Score, whether you like the TV or not, it's there. They're doing a great job, on CBS Sports, getting a lot of play and a lot of promotion. And so they made this big announcement, though, coming on the 31st. What a way to kick off the new year. But they have made the announcement. All the 2015 Score World Desert Championship races, along with a special SEMA Baja 1000 experience and qualifying for the Baja 1000, will be aired in the U.S. and Canada on CBS Sports Network. In addition to trophy truck coverage, the shows are also expanding to show highlights from other classes. In addition to trophy trucks, as well as motorcycle squads, UTVs, buggies, et cetera, et cetera. So, the fans have been heard, and it looks like everybody's going to get their chance at TV. Now, don't expect the other classes to get as much love as a trophy truck. But the good news is, if you're in another class and you happen to win, chances are that you're going to get a little love on television, and that is always definitely a good thing. Also, Score is launching 4 new online video series. One called Roost, one called Legends, one called Conquest, and one, I'm trying to read my paper. Let's rip it apart. All right, we ripped it apart, and I ripped the word that I needed to read. So go figure here. Technical difficulties on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Okay. Conquest, Legends, Roost, and Guerrero are the name of the new 4 videos series. Conquest, it's it's basically a documentary, everything current on Score, driver bios, in-depth stories, kind of like Dirt Live does, I think. Legends is going to be, basically the Score video archives about the history of Score desert racing. I think that should be cool. Probably bring in some of the legends, obviously called Legends. Go figure, right? Roost, another one. It's going to be all about motorcycles, UTVs, and quads. And then Guerrero is going to be geared towards our Mexican fans of off-road down there in Baja, and it's going to be in Spanish. Everybody's going to have a little love there. And then also 2015, this will get you fans excited. Live streaming for the SCORE races, not just the finish line and podiums. It's going to be they're going to have cameras out around the tracks as well. So that should be pretty darn exciting. Also, SCORE announcing a new magazine called the SCORE Journal. That'll be 11 monthly online digital magazines. They're launching a new website. And then obviously, I think a lot of you know by now that Tecate has got bought out by Bud Light. So all the Tecate races have been renamed Bud Light. So that should cater to the American fan base a little more. So big news coming out of SCORE International, and yeah, man, it's definitely big news coming out of SCORE International. Raising the bar yet again. Stoked to see that. I mean, it sounds like you fans, you fans are going to eat that up. More content for you to consume online, live streaming. I love that when I'm not able to make it out to the races. So, congrats to SCORE for continuing to push. Always cool to see desert racing, gaining a little more traction. So you add the SCORE stuff they're doing on the desert side in with Best of the Desert and what they're doing with the Mint 400 and the rest of the series with their television and what Mad Media Race Desert's doing. All good things for us off-road fans, all good things. So, I'm excited. 2015 shaping up to be big. And speaking of big, I'm on a gag order right now, but tomorrow, Terracross Tuesdays. Those of you know, we've talked a lot about the Terracross series last year. Terracross Tuesdays is their new thing. They're going to be dropping the next couple of weeks some big announcements on Tuesdays in regards to the Terracross Championship. But I know tomorrow they have an absolute huge mega blockbuster announcement that Terracross is going to be making. So tomorrow, Tuesday, on Terracross Tuesday, you definitely want to watch their Facebook feed, their social media feed, and I'll be sharing it on my Facebook feed as well. But Terracross Tuesday tomorrow, mark your calendar. Check out the Terracross social media feed tomorrow. Have an epically large announcement to be made. So be checking out that on Terracross. And I told you before I was going to talk a little bit about my winter break, and obviously I always spend my winter break up in Minnesota. My wife's family from Minnesota. I consider it my second home up there. Absolutely love the state of Minnesota and all that it encompasses. And tell you what, they are. They've got some epic motorsports events up there. We've got the Ojibwe Rally America round up there. You've got Millville? They've got the pro motocross race there. Snowcross, its home is in Minnesota. They've got huge, the biggest events of the year in snowcross is there. I love Minnesota. I love riding snowmobiles. I love the summers. I love the winters. Spend some time out on the ice. Didn't get to do some ice fishing, but did spend some time out on the ice. There's a home on a lake up there in Minnesota I spend some time at over the summers and the winter, and it just so happens to be about 10 miles from my good friend Levi LaValle's. So I made my way over to Levi LaValle's over the holidays and spent some time out at his compound. And I got to tell you, man, Levi's compound, this place is insane. I don't know how much property he's got out there, but it's quite a bit. Kind of tucked away out in the forests. But Levi invited me out, and I got to tell you, man, me and him just bench raced for a couple of hours telling stories and stuff, and it was definitely a good time. Got to see the shop where, a lot of the sleds are prepped, mostly they're practice sleds. He was actually doing some X Games training, but Minnesota right now has no snow. So, how do you train for for Winter X, when you got no snow, well, Levi's got his own snow machines. So Levi was literally making snow, blowing snow, and he's got this huge track out there, huge epic jumps. I mean, you see these guys do these jumps on TV for freestyle, and you take it for granted. When you walk up to these things, insane, like 3 stories tall, these landings. I mean, I'm looking at these going, holy crap, Levi, what are you doing, dude? And just crazy. He also showed me his foam pit, and you see Pastrana and these guys in Southern California with foam pits, easy deal. You don't have to worry about snow, right? Levi, he's got to worry about snow when he's got his foam pit. So he's got this warehouse that's literally filled from the floor all the way to the roof with foam. And he's got doors going in there, so I guess you could remove all the foam and actually have it a warehouse you could use for something. But right now it's just literally a building completely. Think of a huge garage and just fill it to the roof with foam. That's what he's got. So how do you jump into it? He's got an entire roof that slides on a track. So he can literally winch the entire roof, and it slides all the way off. It's a retractable roof, so it slides completely off the building, and then he's got jumps set up on the outside. So literally, when you hit his foam pit, you hit the ramp, you fly into the middle of a building, and then he's got, basically a crane or a winch to winch the sled and your body out. But it was pretty cool to see the setup, and I didn't get a chance to see him hit him. I know if you follow him on social media, he's been posting up some some pictures. He's definitely knee deep in training for X Games right now, and Jake Scott and some of the other boys that race snowcross for the Valley team were out there. But talk about a cool experience, and then just spending some time with Levi. I know he is back racing the Terracross Series this year, so going to be stoked to see him racing in the dirt a little bit this year. In addition to the stuff he's got going on snowmobiles, I know he's got a few projects going right now, and Levi always is, on point in anything he does. So, I'm just stoked to see him out in the dirt this year. But, great time. Got to thank Levi LaValle for letting me out to his compound. And I got to tell you, man, I'm definitely going to go up there and do some more bench racing with him this summer and maybe do a little wakeboarding. Me and him both big wakeboard fans. So maybe we'll get a chance to board together at some point this summer. But, good times had with Levi LaValle over the summer. So, or over the winter, I should say. Summer, what am I talking about here? We're going to take another short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And when we come back, we're going to be breaking down the Supercross race in Anaheim, and we've also got some news we're going to get to. Big news coming out of Lucas Oil and General Tire and some others. So when we come back, it's news, it's Supercross, and then a little bit later, we're going to have Amy Houde calling in to break down Supercross even further. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris Razor XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
The #1 off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet now has its own app. The Down and Dirty Radio Show official app is now available in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and Amazon Kindle Store. Just search Down and Dirty Radio Show, and you'll have all the latest news, results, and blockbuster interviews from off-road, rally, drifting, supercross, and snowcross at your fingertips. Hours of interviews from the best drivers and athletes on Earth, such as Travis Pastrana, Ken Block, Tanner Faust, Brian Deegan, Robbie Gordon, and Jolene Van Vliet are yours at the touch of a button. Download today and never miss an interview again.
Did you know that Parker Motor Company is one of the best places to shop for new tires for your car or truck? With a full tire shop and advanced equipment, we can outfit your vehicle with over 13 brands of tires, including Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Yokohama, Falcon, and General. We offer a low price guarantee that will meet or beat any competitor's price. We'll check your alignment for free, and we also offer tire care for any road hazards you may come across. If you need new tires, Parker Motor Company is your only choice. Parker Motor Company, your hometown Ford and Lincoln dealer.
Looking to have some screen printing, embroidery, or design work done? Intense Tees has you covered. Intense Tees provides the highest quality and detail for custom screen printing and embroidery services for corporations, schools, race teams, and all organizations alike. Complete line creation including designing of an entire corporate identity, product line creation, support promotions, product packaging, exciting banners, polos, tees, sweatshirts, caps, and vinyl decals. Intense Tees is the official apparel provider for the Down and Dirty Off-Road Show. Find out more on the web at www.intensetees.com. That's www.intensetees.com.
Okay, when you're on the job, you're making tough decisions around the clock. Well, here's an easy one. Ford F-Series. Under the hood, F-Series trucks have the power and fuel efficiency you need. Translation? You can always tackle the toughest jobs without losing a fortune at the pumps. But it's not just all brawn and no brains. F-Series trucks also have a cutting-edge selection of smart technology that keeps you connected, focused, and informed, all while behind the wheel. That's why, on average, every 42 seconds, someone forks over their hard-earned cash to get a new F-150 or Super Duty. No wonder they're the best-selling brand of trucks in America for 37 years in a row. The competition never stood a chance. Ford F-150, Ford Super Duty. #1 for 37 years straight. Not convinced? Get behind the wheel of an F-150 or Super Duty and decide for yourself. Go online to your local FordDealers.com, then visit your Arizona Ford dealer for a test drive today. Based on U.S. sales from October 2012 through October 2013.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, lit up by Rigid Industries, schooled by DirtFish Rally School, and anywhere as possible with General Tire. I'm your host, Jim Beaver, and man, we've been rocking and rolling today. Had Todd Leduc on to start things off, been talking some Dakar, some score, going to get into some Supercross from Anaheim. Amy Houde's still calling in at some point during the show. And I got to tell you, though, right now I'm getting another update from Dakar and Robbie Gordon. And Robbie Gordon now cleared mile or kilometer, 475 of 518. So kilometer 475 of 518. Remember, he had brake issues earlier in the day. Still making time or making his way to the finish line, I should say. But those brake issues definitely hurting things. He just keeps dropping farther back. He's about an hour and 20 minutes behind at this point in time. So definitely costing him crucial time, that brake issue. And me, wondering if he had to cap off some brakes at some point. If he had a fire, maybe. I mean, there's a way. I've had to do it in my trophy truck before, where you cap off certain calipers. I know at one point at Parker a couple years ago, I had to, ripped the spindle off. We repaired it, but broke the brake line and screwed up the caliper. I capped off that front one, and I've got my bias adjuster. I turned it and biased things to the rear, and gave myself more rear braking because I only had one caliper on the front. And, it definitely helped. But I got to tell you, the truck was a squirrel on those fast roads. You hit the brakes, and it's all rear brakes, and it puts you in a drift every single time you hit the brakes. So, and I'm just speculating here. I don't know, but for him to lose that much time over this brake issues, he's definitely not braking at full power. So, it should, it's going to be interesting to see what the actual problem was, once he gets to the finish line and we're able to find out for sure. Because remember, in Dakar, unlike off-road desert racing or NASCAR or, just about anything, we have you have no outside communication. So the guys in the pits, they have no idea what is going on there until he actually finishes or crosses the line there. So, it's going to be definitely going to be interesting to see the way this shakes out once he does get to the bivouac or bivouac. I don't know. We go butchering that again. So let's just say crosses the finish line, he gets into the pits, because obviously I can't say that precisely today. I don't. Never had a problem with that word before, but I do today. I promise I'm going to practice before next episode. But sure, butchering it today for some reason. But that is the latest on Robbie Gordon. If we get another update before we end the show, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. But Supercross at Anaheim, it was definitely a big event, and I'm getting told that I need to wait to talk about Supercross until Amy Houde gets here. So, I guess we'll delay that Supercross talk just a little bit and go into some news bites that we've got on tab. Sorry, I'm still laughing over my pronunciation a minute or so ago. But news. We've got some news and big news coming out of General Tire. Obviously, they are been a partner of mine in my trophy truck program for quite some time. They're now a partner in the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So we got to welcome General Tire. But this year they are celebrating their 100th anniversary. So congratulations goes out to General Tire. 100 years of producing tires. I mean, that's such a huge accomplishment. I think about that. How many companies in the United States made it 100 years? Ford has done it. Obviously, General Tire has now done it. I believe Chevrolet possibly it has been 100 years. But 100 years of manufacturing tires. And I don't care. 100 years in business is just a big deal. I know my family's Ford dealership, 1916. So here in about 2 years, we're celebrating, or a year, 100 years. But that's just an epically insane amount of time to be in business. So congrats goes out to General Tire. I know they are going to be rolling out both here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, as well as in off-road and through social media, and that some cool 100th year anniversary stuff throughout the year. So definitely look forward to that. Also, niche, I guess, boutique car manufacturer Ariel, probably know them for their Ariel Atom sports car. They have announced the Ariel Nomad. You can see all the pictures. I'll post them up onto social media later today. It's called the Ariel Nomad, and basically what this is they took the infrastructure of their Atom sports car and made a dune buggy out of it. And this is going to go into production. It's got a Honda engine that, not a motorcycle, Honda actual car engine. that is going to be the power plant there. But you got to look at this. I mean, it kind of reminiscent of the old dune buggies you saw in the 70s, early 80s, with the roll cage and stuff like that. Maybe a little nod to some Myers Manx in there. It's going to be rear wheel drive. And this thing is cool. I mean, it's super cool. I have no idea what the price point's going to be yet, but the Ariel Nomad, you definitely want to check that out. Run a Google search because they put out some drawings, and I guess next week, they at an auto show. I can't remember which auto show. I apologize, but they are going to be actually debuting this car, so it'll be there in the flesh. It won't just be the concept drawings. So they put out some teaser concept drawings today. Here in another week, or they are actually showing the actual car. So I'm going to have to put a call into our good friend Emmy Hall, who's our resident car reviewer, to get her take on it, see if she knows any more on it. But the Ariel Nomad street legal dune buggy is coming, and I got to tell you, this thing is pretty cool. So for you dirt fans, looking for I guess maybe some options other than the Raptor, the Ariel Nomad, definitely look into that. Also, Lucas Oil, they made their schedule change. We talked a little bit about it with Todd Leduc, and as I'm getting reminded, they also have their new Lucas Oil show called Recourse. I have not watched it yet. I'm getting that question asked by our good friend Gwen, who I will say was voted Torque Fan of the Year. It's I haven't watched it yet. I've heard good things about it, though. It's definitely on my to-do list. I just apologize. I haven't seen it yet. But, Recourse is in action. But making a schedule change. August 1st and the 2nd, as we talked about with Todd Leduc, going to Ensenada, Mexico. And that is huge. I mean, Torque, changing things up. They're running St. Louis. They brought in, Sturgis. Obviously, they're running a Texas event, which I think is going to be huge. Lucas, obviously, they're trying to expand and going to Ensenada, one of the hearts of desert racing. And off-road racing is like literally the sport. I don't want to say national, but because Baja is 2 states, but it's seriously the official sport of Baja. I mean, everybody in Baja, off-road drivers, they are name brands. I mean, they know off-road drivers like we know NFL players here in the United States, or like NASCAR drivers. It's it's huge down there. To bring short course, which short course has raced in Ensenada before, there at Estero Beach. I can't remember back in the day if Baldwin's took core there or not. Estero Beach, they've got a short course facility there. I don't know what kind of shape it's in or how often they race local races. I know the Leducs used to go down there and race back in the day, doing a lot of testing and things back there. But Estero Beach, I believe that's where this event is going to be. I guess Ampudia's helped put this on. Obviously, them from Ensenada, they've got their Papas and Beer program. Rodrigo and Alan both racing in the Lucas series. Makes a lot of sense for them, and to be honest with you, this makes a lot of sense for Lucas to go down there. I mean, this is one of those why didn't they do it sooner type of things. Absolute huge. I mean, it's I can't say any more. I mean, Lucas going to Ensenada, taking off-road to a place that knows off-road. I think this is going to be one of the most highly attended events on the Lucas calendar. I would say, honestly, depending on seating and stuff, how they put it, attendance at this event could rival attendance at Crandon. It's going to be that big. The people in Mexico, when there's an off-road race, they come out of the woodwork to watch. So this is definitely a win for Lucas, and I tip the cap to him. Going international, going after that Hispanic fan base down there in Mexico, it's going to be a win for the sponsors, for the teams, everybody involved. So Lucas Oil, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know that I can make it down there, but I got to tell you, if I have that weekend open, I will definitely be traveling to Ensenada to watch this race, because I think all the drivers' teams, everybody involved, I'm going to reach out to Greg Fouts, maybe Richie Lewis with Lucas, and see if we can get one of them on air to talk about it. But this is going to be a big deal for the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. So, Lucas, if you're listening, tip of the cap to you guys, because I think it was a great move adding in that Ensenada date there, and in a best case scenario, maybe we get some more teams out of Mexico competing in the Lucas Oil Series. I know, a lot of Mexican teams competing in off-road desert racing. I would love to see more Mexican teams in short course. So, maybe this opens that door for some of the Mexican national teams to expand and do some short course racing. I think that would definitely be an awesome thing. So lots of stuff on the horizon for Lucas. Obviously, Torque announcing their schedule, and it's insane. I mean, I'm saying 2015, and Stadium Super Trucks announcing theirs. 2015 is going to be one of the best years ever for short course racing. And I'm not mentioning any series. I'm a fan of Lucas. I'm a fan of Torque. I'm a fan of SST. 2015 in general will be probably the greatest year ever for short course racing. So I'm making that statement, and I've got reasons behind it. Those of you that listen know. But, I think 2015 will be the greatest year ever in the history of short course. So you heard it here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We are going to take our last short commercial break, and when we come back, Amy Houde will be calling in. We'll be talking Supercross from Anaheim. So stay tuned to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris driver Jim Beaver. I host the Down and Dirty Radio Show, travel the country announcing motorsports events, and I compete against some of the toughest drivers in the world in my number 15 trick truck in the Best in the Desert Championship. I know what it takes to survive Baja and races like the Mint 400 or Vegas to Reno, and that is reliability. When I choose to train, pre-run, or just take my family out to the desert or dunes on the weekend, I trust Polaris Razor products exclusively. I need the absolute best performing vehicles that I know will get me back safe, fast, and without any problems. The only vehicle on the market that I know will do this is the Polaris Razor. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com. DirtFish Rally School is the premier rally driving school on the West Coast, located in Snoqualmie, Washington. If you're looking for a ton of fun with world-class driving instructors honing your skills, DirtFish is the place for you. DirtFish has 315 acres of playground with mixed surfaces for your driving experience. You can spend anywhere from 2 hours to 3 intense days of instruction refining your driving and racing skills. Whether you are looking for credits towards your Rally America license, honing your racing skills, or just having a fun time, DirtFish is your school. Your classroom is behind wheel of a 300 horsepower rally-prepped Subaru STI. These cars have protective cages, suspension modifications, and are built for one purpose: to push you to your limit. By the end of your time at DirtFish, you will have the confidence to rally with the best. Whether you're looking for a thrilling first-time rally experience or to increase your knowledge and time in the driver's seat, DirtFish has a driving experience to suit your needs. For any information on their classes, corporate events, or their facility, check them out on the web at www.dirtfish.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at DirtFish Rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, lit up by Rigid Industries, schooled by DirtFish Rally School, and anywhere is possible with General Tire. I am your host, Jim Beaver, and man, it's been a great show so far. A lot of Dakar talk, a lot of off-road talk. Had Todd Leduc on here, but right now we're shifting gears. We're going to talk some Supercross, and it looks like my good friend Amy Houde is calling in to talk some Supercross with me. How's everything going, Amy?
Hello. I am awesome, but freezing. I just got back from California to minus 40-degree weather.
I was going to say, talk about switching gears. I mean, Southern California, real close to the beach there in Anaheim and Disneyland, and then you go to Canada and it's like, boom, right?
Oh, my gosh. This is like a boom to the face, to the floor. It's terrible. We have like a wind chill weather warning, like two seconds, and you get frostbite. Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's the worst I've ever seen it here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I got to say, I was up in Minnesota for about a week and a half, and it was funny because we're up there and I'm on the lake, and lake's froze over, and we're playing around on the lake and dragging my daughter around on a tube and stuff, but it was brown. It was crazy. It was completely brown up there. No snow. I go to see Levi LaValle, and he's trying to train for X Games, and he's like, dude, we're having to blow our own snow. He's like, how do you train for the X Games when it's brown outside?
Yeah,
and I think
they don't get as much snow as we do. So.
Yeah, and I got to say though, I think the storm moved in as soon as I left, and they dumped some snow. But you guys, negative 40, that's just insane. Yeah,
and that's nothing. Like it gets to minus 50. Just a couple weeks ago, it was minus 50 degrees with the wind chill. Like it's been getting colder and colder, and we were supposed to have one of our coldest winters of the year, but. Or of all time, but I think it's getting a little bit, it's warming, it's going to warm up a bit, but, minus 50, try that. You guys don't have any idea. And we still go out and ice race on the weekend in this weather, so we are gnarly.
Well, I was going to say, I saw the picture of you doing some ice riding. How is that? Because, I've seen it before, but, how do you, is it kind of like flat tracking? How is ice racing or ice riding?
It's so fun. Minus the cold weather, but you just bundle up like you're going snowmobiling, and it's a blast. There's so much traction. Your tires are studded up, and you just, go into a corner, fourth gear wide open and lay it down. Like, it's awesome. You just slide around, and it's really, really fun. And that's actually how I learned to race. I started on the ice. I had a little quad. Don't get on me, but, I had a little quad, and then, my first dirt bike, I started riding on the ice. It's really safe because people don't really crash very often. And if you do, you just kind of slide out into a snowbank. So it's really safe and good for beginners to kind of learn the ropes of dirt biking.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and talking about dirt biking, I think what everybody's been waiting for, all off season, all winter long, it's, the world stops for A1, Supercross. It's like, the kickoff, it's really the first major motorsports event of 2015. It always is. And you were there on the ground floor. What was the buzz at Anaheim like?
It was awesome. I can't wait for Supercross to roll around. Either I'm there commentating and hosting Motorcycle Superstores, Moto Adventure in the pits, which is kind of a behind-the-scenes look at all the fun action and what goes on at the race in the pits and underneath the semis and the tents. But if I'm not there, I'm at home with my family and friends, and we always, book off every Saturday. We are in front of the TV watching the race. So, my whole family gets involved, and we are just diehard moto heads. So it's great. And A1 was... A1 is such a cool event because it's the first round. you never know what's going to happen. And I think that's what's so cool about A1 is you get these, underdogs and the wild cards and, some of our favorites come through, but you just never know what's going to happen. So it's so exciting.
Well, and I think this year in particular, Ryan Villopoto, he's going to run Europe this year. We all know what happened with James Bubba Stewart. Whether you agree or disagree, he's not racing. So I think two of the big name guys that were possible favorites, they're not in the series. So it definitely, the door was wide open for anybody to step up and have a shot at a championship this year.
Yeah, for sure. 450s is always, you always got these top strong riders, and James Stewart and the Villopoto have always been right there. So, it's either one of their games or Ryan Dungey and now Ken Roxon, obviously, being some of the top runners. But for me, it's all about the 250s. I can't wait to watch the 250s. A lot of young guns, a lot of really fast riders, and the racing is always so exciting because you have these not as experienced vets as you have in the 450 class, the seasoned riders, as you would call it. But, these guys are hungry, they're aggressive, and I'm always really excited for the 250 class. And this year especially, it's fast, it was crashes everywhere. It was good. I'm all about the 250 class. So get me excited.
Yeah, well, in 250s, obviously we saw 250 West. Anderson, he took the championship, moved up to 450s, did super good. Taking home a second in his first 450 race. But 250s this year. We can get to the East later on, but looking at the West. Obviously Justin Nelson or Jesse Nelson took the win, but who should we be looking for to emerge in the 250 class?
So my pick for the A1 podium was kind of off. I had Cooper Webb, Justin Hill, and Bishelia. Now, I picked these riders because they were super fast last year. They just had some bad luck this year. The first round. So I really think if Cooper Webb and Hill were to get some consistent starts, and I know Cooper fell, but he came back up to 7th. And, that's not that long of a race, so that's impressive. And he was almost at the back of the pack. So I think those are some really top runners there. But in the 250 class, I almost see a different group of kids being on the top of the podium every weekend. The Husqvarna team, Osborne breaking his thumb, finishing second, that's incredible. It's anybody's game. My money for next round is going to be Cooper Webb, and I think everybody should also keep an eye out for Justin Hill. He is a gladiator. He's extremely hungry, and, last year, again, he had some great riding and some great races under his belt. So those are the guys I would keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of, I know I was expecting this year big things out of Adam Cianciarulo. Obviously he went down, he's missing the year. So, I think a lot of the riders were expecting him to be one of the front runners too. So I think, same thing with the 450s we see in the 250s, Cianciarulo out, one of the early favorites is gone for the year. I think some of these young riders, like you said, doors wide open for them to step in and possibly steal some wins in a championship.
Yeah, Adam, I bet some money on Adam Cianciarulo, so when I heard that he got injured, I was, huge bummer. He's a crowd favorite, a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. He's a super nice guy. I got to run into him in the pits and chat about, his Christmas and his holidays, so you can stay tuned for that in my Motorcycle Superstore video. But, with him gone, it just opens the door for some other people, because I do think he would have been a really consistent rider, so it would have been nice to watch him and, see him progress throughout the season. But, that's the sport of racing, and you never know what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, and speaking of him, are we going to see him back for the outdoor season, or do you think he's just done for this season at all?
Oh, he's not done. I couldn't tell you. I'm not too sure. It's just a shoulder, so I don't think it's going to be too long. He might even be back for the last couple rounds of Supercross.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we will get a chance to see him, because I would like to see how he does. And, a lot of people, he's holding the team right now for the PC team. He's their top rider, and I didn't see any other PC guys really up there battling with anybody. So, they've always been one of the top teams. So now everything has really shifted. The teams have shifted. For me, the Husqvarna team is the team in the pits that is everybody should keep an eye out for. They have some of the most consistent riders under their tent. All of them are kind of a sheer bet, and they're one of the teams to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then, talking about 450s, I don't think anybody's surprised. I mean, Ken Roxon, he was amazing last year. He was my pick to win, and, he came out and did what I expected him, and I think everybody expected him to do.
Mm-hmm. Me too. My 450 picks were Roxon, Dungey, and I got to give it to my boy Anderson. I was kind of hoping there when he jumped into second place that we were going to see what we saw last year with that last quarter pass for the win. I was hoping so, but Anderson is a really, really strong rider, and I'm so pumped to see him up there for his rookie season in 450. So.
Yeah, Anderson, I love him because he rides hungry. I mean, he's always on the edge, and he'll put it all on the line for a win, and that's one thing I love about Anderson, and I think we're going to see him this year, even as a rookie, take some wins in the 450s. Yeah,
definitely. No, he's I would still put money on Anderson for the title. He's a really smart rider. If he stays safe and healthy this year, I think he's going to be really consistent with some, being on the box every weekend, and I think he's in for the title. I would, Roxon is really fast, but he's also really aggressive. He takes a lot of chances, so we can see wins to, fifth places out of him if, he makes any mistakes. Dungey, obviously a crowd favorite, fan favorite, and he is riding smart. I'm not shocked that he didn't finish on the podium, but he is riding for a championship. He is going to be as consistent as he can, and it's too bad because I like to see the aggression and I like to see, the real racing out of him, but I just don't think we saw it last night, but, that's because he's riding for a championship.
Yeah. Well, and another guy, we saw him, I believe it was last year. Was it last year? Run up front. I know he was injured off and on, but Davey Millsaps. Davey, he's finally back. Everybody wanted to know, hey, is he gonna return to what we saw when he battled Villapoto for the championship? Early on we saw it, and then, he had a few troubles and dropped back, but Davey Millsaps, with what we saw, I think he's definitely another guy that's going to contend for wins this year.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had a couple flops last night in the 450. Millsap, Tomac, and again with Dungey. But those riders come back a little bit more consistent, and I think it's going to kind of shake up the podium again for the rounds to come. So right now, it's so early to call it because I don't think we've really seen even Tomac. He's someone now, next round he's going to come back and he's going to be hungry. He's going to be mad and pissed, and whenever he gets lights that fire under his ass, he just, he turns it on and he's gone. If he can get a whole shot, he would be gone from everybody. So it's exciting. That's racing. That's what I love.
Yeah, and then one other name I'm going to throw at you, and want your opinion on him. Obviously, the veteran Chad Reed. He's a fan favorite. Last year we saw some of the Chad Reed of old, and he went and took a couple of wins, and obviously finishing in 10th. What do we expect for Chad Reed this year? Do you think he's obviously he's not going to race forever, but we know from last year he still got wins in him. What do we expect for Chad Reed this year?
I like Chad. He plays the family's card. Tate comes out in the opening ceremonies, and he's been such a consistent rider. He's kind of on and off, but I'll give you guys some behind-the-scenes little drama action here from the press conference. Somebody did ask Chad Reed about women ever racing Supercross, and he laughed and said that would never happen. So I would like to stand corrected that Hannah Hodges has raced Supercross in Daytona, the Super Mini class. So, it is coming, and I'm just kind of pissed off about that comment a little bit. So, I would like to kind of throw Andrew Short out there. He is older, and he did have a better finish last night, beating Ken Roxon straight up. So, Chad likes to throw out the old guy card, but there's a bunch of older guys out there who are doing really good, and Andrew Short being one of them. So, you're never too old in this sport to show up. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Todd Reed, I do think there's going to be women racing Supercross pretty darn soon. So it's all in time. It takes a little bit of time. Like Hannah Hodges kind of, paves the way, and she's the next girl in line to really do anything in Supercross for women. And I do think that she has potential. She's going to do it. I mean, she just has to put her mind to it. So.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Vicky Golden? I think she raced Arena Cross last year. Didn't she get a Supercross license?
She did. I mean, she got her points. She's able to race, but I mean, it takes a lot of practice and training. And there's so many guys out there who I've seen year after year, try to qualify and never make a night show. But I'd like to see some girls out there trying to make a night show. With all these other guys, I mean, Kevin Tapia had his best finish actually qualifying for a night show in 450 class after years and years of trying. So, if there's a girl in that mix trying, like, there's no doubt in my mind that it'll happen. It just takes time, and it takes, some really strong chicks to break those stereotypes. So I just don't like those naysayers, and especially a pro, especially a fan favorite like Chad Reed, who has so many girls, especially now with, that he's a family guy. Like, I have a lot more respect for him, and he has a daughter. I just think he probably lost a lot of fans by that comment. I just don't think it was right, and I don't think there's ever, a time to rule something like that out, because, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and women are only getting faster in this sport, so.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, the level of women's riding in the past just 5 years is really exploded, and you look at what's happening on the endurocross side of things, and I think some of those ladies, if they were to race against the men, to be honest with you, I think they take podiums in endurocross right now.
Yeah, I know. It is. We need more press. We need a little bit more, love, and more people believing in us. It is what it is, and it'll get there. So just wait. I just can't wait to say, I told you so.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think, as far as Phoenix goes, obviously Phoenix on tap, what do we expect out of Phoenix, Amy? Are you going to be there first off, and what do we expect in Phoenix?
I'm not going to be at Phoenix. No, my next round that I'll be filming a Motorcycle Superstore Moto Adventure video is going to be at San Diego. So I'm kind of now stuck behind the scenes and behind my TV watching, but I'm always very active on the live feed, and I like to watch, I like to stay tuned with all the heat races and just see how everybody's doing. So for Phoenix, I would like to say, I think we will see a shake-up in the 450 podium. Actually, both. I really do think it's going to be a lot different. A lot of times, A1, which is my favorite thing about, A1, is that you get these wild card guys show up and, clean up like Jesse Nelson did. But then sometimes you see them kind of fizzle away, and the other riders kind of get their first race jitters out of the way, and then they kind of snap back into it and have some better finishes. So I do think that we will see a different lineup. Maybe I'd like to say Jason Anderson take a win, and Trey Kennard and Tomac get on the box. So maybe I'll throw that in there. And for the 250s, I know that Zach Osborne thumb was broken, and it is getting fixed, and he will be in Phoenix. So I would like to see him finishing on the podium. I'm going to give it to Cooper Webb. He showed some heart and character and some sheer speed, and I think if he can put it all together, that he can get a win next weekend. Third place, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
So those of you listening in, if you haven't got in on our Fantasy Supercross, the Down and Dirty Radio Show, Amy Houde, KMC Wheels, we teamed up, did Fantasy Supercross, over 250 entries into our Fantasy Supercross. I was pretty impressed with that. So you still got time. There's 6 throwaway races this year out of the 17 rounds. So if you missed off and you're tuning in, come compete against me. Come compete against Amy. Get in on Fantasy Supercross. We're giving away a set of KMC wheels to the winner, some gift packages. I know Amy and I have talked about maybe Motorcycle Superstore and some few others doing some round giveaways. So definitely get in on it and come compete against Amy and myself.
Yeah, for sure. And if you guys are stopping by the Supercross and I am there, just check my Twitter or my Instagram and you'll find out if I'm around. But you guys have to make sure that you stop by the Husqvarna rig. I do like to give some insider information, if you want to come to the track, the coolest things to do, the best places to stop by, but you guys have to check out their rig. They got one of the coolest pits, in the whole paddock. They got tons of prizes they're giving away. They got Rockwell set up. You can check out watches, take photos, and hang out with the Rockstar girls. Like, they're really cool. They're a really cool team, and that's what it's all about. It's all about personality and having a good time, and those guys really know what it's all about. So I highly suggest you guys stop by there, and then come find me. Come be part of my Motorcycle Superstore Moto Adventure, and we can hang out and adventure around the pits.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, I was, kind of keeping track of you, and from your social media and stuff. Looked like you and some of your friends definitely had a good time there at A1.
Oh, we always do. I always meet up with a bunch of moto chicks from that area, and we all get together and watch the races and hang out. So it's a lot of fun, and that's what racing is all about, having fun. So make sure you guys go with a big group of people, or your mom and dad and your brothers and sisters, and just have a great time at the races.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to come in and recap things, and looking forward to having you on from time to time to talk some Supercross, Amy. It's always fun.
I appreciate it. And make sure you check out my video, which will be coming up on YouTube, on Motorcycle Superstore's YouTube channel. It's all about the art of the Supercross selfie. I went around talking to riders and fans and monster girls, and of course Diana Dahlgren, on how to take the best Supercross selfie. So got to stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
It's pretty funny.
We'll definitely get it up on my social media and on the show website when that drops. So definitely looking forward to that, Amy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great. Well, have a good one, and I will see you guys personally at San Diego. And if not, just make sure you guys follow along and watch the races, and let me know who you guys are voting for next round. I want to know your top 3 picks for 250s and 450s. Tweet at me. I want to know. I want to see, if I'm going to feature guys' butts this year. So.
All right. Well, thanks, Amy, and we'll definitely be tweeting at Amy at Amy Houde 71. So thanks a lot, Amy, and we'll talk soon.
Have a great one.
All right. You too.
See ya.
All right. Stay warm.
Yeah, I'll try.
All right. That was Amy Houde, professional female motocross racer, and also media personality, and fastly becoming a good friend of mine. And don't forget, we teamed up with Amy, for this Fantasy Supercross League, Down and Dirty Radio Show Fantasy Supercross, and over 250 of you in the league, 256 to be exact so far. You still got time to get in. It's fantasyactionsportsleague.com. You can get in on the action. There's 6 throwaway races, so make your way over there. Giving away a set of KMC wheels to the winner. Lots of gift prizes for 2nd through 5th place, and we may start doing some individual event rounds. I got to tell you, I'm pretty stoked. I'm ranked 15th out of 256 right now. Pretty proud of myself. But got to give a shout out to some of our show listeners and some of you that beat Amy. We've got Haggie's Heroes, who is currently leading, Grim 284 in 2nd, DJ Troy in 3rd, Fanless in 4th, and Swan 76 in tied for 4th, and then the other guys in the 6th position. So congrats goes out to all of you who are playing Fantasy Supercross, who are in the top 5. I got to tell you, it isn't easy week in and week out to pick these, but I think we've learned a lot after the first week. And big shout out to our winners, Jesse Nelson and Kenny Roxon, giving a quick rundown of the top 10 in each class. 250 West was Jesse Nelson, Zach Osborne, Tyler Bowers, Justin Hill, Aaron Plessinger, Shane McElrath, Cooper Webb, Alex Martin, Josh Hansen, Michael Lieb. That was your top 10 in the West 250s. And your 450s, it was Roxon, Anderson, Trey Kennard, Ryan Dungy, Andrew Short, Barsha, Weston Peak, Brock Tickle, Mike Alessi, and Chad Reed rounding out your top 10. So Supercross back in action this weekend in Phoenix. And I got to tell you, Phoenix, it's going to be a fun one. I guess my home Supercross event. Haven't decided if I'm going to be able to make it down there or not. I've got the Best in the Desert pre-run on Sunday morning. I'm going to do my best, but you can bet your ass that I am going to be tuned in on TV. So once again, at Amy Hood 71, at Jim Beaver 15, tweet us your picks. We want to know. We want to hear about them. Who are your picks to win this week in Phoenix? Should be a fun event. So lots of stuff coming up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Lots of great guests. We're definitely firing on all 8 cylinders right now heading into the new year. Supercross, we're knee-deep in that. Not knee-deep, but just breaking the ice in Supercross. We're knee-deep in snowcross season. More snowcross to come. And, it's just... it's a fun time. It's silly season. We're still learning about a lot of where drivers are going to land this year. Lots and lots of storylines kind of playing out that we've heard rumors of. I'm excited. So, coming up, we've got obviously Supercross from Phoenix. We've got a lot of racing happening in Supercross over the next couple of months. We've got Snowcross, the big one there from Canterbury Park in Minnesota. Their big event of the year. That's coming up this weekend. Red Bull Frozen Rush, that happening this weekend. That's going to be live streamed. The Best in the Desert Parker 250 on Saturday. Best in the Desert Parker pre-fun run on Sunday. And then tomorrow, don't forget, we've got that huge Terracross news dropping. Terracross tomorrow, their Facebook page, be on the lookout. Huge Terracross news dropping. Trust me, if you're a fan of the Down and Dirty Radio Show and you follow Terracross, you definitely want to be on Terracross's Facebook page tomorrow and check that out. I'll be sharing it on mine as well. It's that big. So I don't know. What are you going to watch on TV this weekend? I want to know, because Saturday you're gonna watch Supercross. You're gonna watch Frozen Rush. You're gonna watch Snowcross. And then we got the Parker 250. I'm sure Race Desert will be doing something with that. Or UTV Underground. So 4 big events this weekend. It's all going down. It's an exciting time to be a fan of off-road and action motorsports. That's for sure. As far as this show goes, upcoming guests. Obviously, we're going to have more Amy Hood. Amy going to be a big part of this show throughout Supercross season. So looking forward to having more Amy on air. We're also going to have, UTV and female motocross racer Sarah Price. Sarah will be calling in at some point in time. She's got some big news that's going to be breaking as well. BJ Burtwell from Torque. He's going to be a guest on air sometime this month. And also the legend Johnny Greaves. Johnny going to be calling into the radio show as well. So lots and lots of guests lining up for the Down and Dirty Radio Show. A lot of others I can't quite announce yet, but it's going to be a fun couple of weeks as we get ready for the desert racing kickoff in San Felipe and the Parker 425 Supercross. We've got that going on. We've got some Rally America events, Snowdrift. We've got World Rally Championship at Monte Carlo. Man, lots and lots to talk about, and lots of events happening. Definitely going to be a fun start to the new year. Got to thank all of our sponsors: Polaris Razor, General Tire, Rigid Industries, DirtFish Rally School, UPR.com, who launched a new website. I would definitely go over to UPR.com, check out that new website. Blue Water Resort and Casino, Wakeboard Island, Jmar Performance Brakes. Got to thank Parker Motor Company, and got to thank Todd Leduc for calling in, and congrats to him on his win at Monster Jam over the weekend. Amy Hood, give her a follow once again at Amy Hood 71, and gotta just thank all of you fans for listening in. Year number 4, we've kicked it off, and it's going to be a fun one. Lots of big news coming still from the Down and Dirty Radio Show, so looking forward to bringing you in the loop on all those as we get more information. It's going to be a good weekend this weekend. Don't forget Supercross from Phoenix, Red Bull Frozen Rush, Best in the Desert Parker 250, and Snowcross. It's It's going to be cool. Those of you want to get in on the Fantasy Supercross League, fantasyactionsportsleague.com. It says Down and Dirty Radio Show on the front page. If it doesn't, tweet me at JimBeaver15. I've got to get a hold of them today on some other stuff. So it's going to be a fun league this year. FantasyActionSportsLeague.com. Looking forward to the rest of the year. Give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/DownAndDirtyShow or DownAndDirtyShow.com on the web. And don't forget, get our app available on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, and the Amazon Kindle store. It's available right now. Thanks to each and every one of you for listening in. That is a wrap on another Down and Dirty Radio show. As always, it's game on.